got this, Josh. You got this. So look, I'm thinking that maybe this relationship isn't going to work out, right? I mean, I know we've been together for a while. I know you're seeing other people. I know you see other people all the time, you know, and I know I'm into some weird group shit sometimes, but you know, I just think for you, as my therapist, you should. Whoa! Oh, hey, whoa! What the fuck, Jerkoff? Are you kidding me? Oh my god! Oh, you wanna? Oh, that's it. This is happening, huh? All right, motherfucker. What the hell? You think you got a problem, motherfucker? Now you got a problem. Now we got some serious shit happening here. You better back the fuck up. Ow! Oh! Ow! Okay, ow! Oh, no, wait, okay, sorry. Ow! Oh, Uncle! Oh, man. Yeah, you better run. What? Oh, no. Oh, man. I think I just learned a valuable lesson. Don't take anything personally. I mean, I don't even think he knew my mother, let alone could have possibly done all those things to her last night. That's delicious. So really, I think that is a valuable lesson, right? Don't take anything personally. Now, it seems really obvious, seems real simple with strangers, and it happens and they say something and maybe they hit a trigger, maybe they don't, maybe it's easy to just walk away, right? But the trick comes when it's actually in a very close personal relationship with somebody. And the truth is that the closer the relationship, the less personal it is. What? Exactly. So what happens is, see, even love is not personal. Love is universal, and you can love an individual person, although 99% of what we consider love is actually attachment, right? Attachment being defined as anything that brings us joy or that we need to bring us happiness that is outside of ourselves, without which we would not be happy. So even if we look at our relationship to ourselves, right, to this body, to this mind, this intellect, our emotions, right, and we see that as very personal. This is my body. I'm isolated here, and it's really not personal. This is just a vessel. This is just a machine, an amazing, glorious machine, but a machine nonetheless. You know, if you've seen Westworld or Battlestar Galactica, and our emotions are part of that machine, and our emotions are just a certain way of operating. So it's kind of like, you know, if something's not working really well within a machine, if something's not firing up to its maximum potential, it's kind of like when our emotions are vibrating at a lower level. So something like love, as opposed to seeing it as this real personal thing, now the manifestation of that in our lives as we understand it is glory, and it feels wonderful and beautiful and stuff like that. And that's actually to keep us in love and moving towards love, right? But in actuality, it's just a vibrational frequency that is actually a necessity required to get into higher levels of consciousness, into the path of ascension, if you will. It's kind of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like, it's just logically not going to fit. You cannot fit into the higher levels of consciousness if you're not vibrating at higher frequencies. That's why love it makes us feel energized and alive. It's all in the emotions that we create in our thoughts, right? So, let's take this into a real personal relationship level. And if we get real personal and we get deeper into our relationships with, a real close, like intimate relationship with parents or loved, a spouse or siblings or something like that, then we think as we get deeper and deeper, now this is personal, right? Now this is personal, but really every single person is operating through their filter of their experience and their hurt, their pain, their wounds, and their joy, and their everything else wonderful as well. It's all through their isolated filter. As we start to do work that takes us away from being so personalized into ourselves, attaching with the mind and the body and the intellect, as we start to get to see that we are not the mind, body, and the intellect, but at our core, we are absolute, perfect, divine love, that we are just neutral, we are observing, we are the sakshi, the witness, right? When we connect with ourselves in that respect, then when we come into a relationship, we get into a fight in a relationship, we see that this other person is just actually, when we think it's personal and they're saying something personal, it's actually just coming from their own, what some places would call, character defects, or some other places would call survival mechanisms that we developed in order to survive, in how we figured out how to get our needs met in this world, right? From outside sources. When we start to actually love and care for ourselves and meet our needs from inside, whether that be a connection to ourselves or a higher power or God, it's, even if you think it's God doing it that is outside of you, it is the connection from inside of us, a relationship to that God, that is going to be fulfilling us and keeping us in that state of love. When we learn to keep our love in that impersonal way for ourselves, and that we are that love, then when we get into a fight or something in disagreement with somebody in a relationship, then we can actually see that it's just coming from their own unmet needs. Now, as we do this work for ourselves, and we learn to meet the needs for ourselves, then we learn to give, and we can give. Now, some people would say, what about abusive relationships where I give? Well, that's because you're giving from a sense of needing something back. If we start at the core, which is the foundational work of our relationship to ourselves, or to our higher power, or to God, self, whatever you want to call it, then from that perspective, if we loved and respected ourselves, we would actually not stay in that dysfunctional relationship. We would leave if it was really abusive. But if it's not abusive and it's just, typical, discrepancies and disruptions in relationships, then as you start to give, because your needs are being met, you'll find that when that person's needs are met by your giving, which we say, well, is that unhealthy? But it's a process. If that person's needs are met by your giving, then they might be able to give back that might fill some of the needs that you need. But as we continue to do the work, then even those needs that they were fulfilling will be met, so you can give even more. And in that process, if they're doing the work as well, then their needs are going to be met by themselves, and they'll be able to give more. And everybody, now you get to the point where you're both full human beings, absolutely sitting in your own love, having your needs met, and then you give, and all this extra love on top is not something that you need to survive, but it is something that even just helps us grow and thrive even more. Again, from a very ideal perspective, the recovery process through this from dysfunction into actual love is a very difficult thing. But the more we take baby steps in giving and meeting our own needs in our own love and our own respect and self-appreciation and self-worth, that's when we can give and we can be able to receive back, because we know that we are worthy of loving. So don't take anything personally, you dumb fucking jerk-offs. Ha ha! Peace! What? Too much? Your mother was a snowblower!